Are you guys ready for maybe the lamest puzzle in the video game? Actually, no, that's not true. There was the one at Gagazet. That one was even lamer. This one is you step on a bunch of tiles to match the picture. That's the picture. So we have to match that number of tiles and those specific tiles. And if you're wondering, how do you know which tile is which? Well, it kind of shows you a little bit. You're not always going to be sure which one is which, and sometimes you just inadvertently step on the wrong one. And like these ones, you don't know what combination those all are. Do we need this one? I'm pretty sure. No, we don't need that one, because we already have one of those. Oh, see, we goofed it up. And they don't, like, rotate or anything. They just reset, so yeah. Yeah, that's the whole puzzle. This is the whole thing. So we're just gonna have to deal with that for, I think we have to do 4 more of these, I think. This is like the baby teaser one. And that opens up all of these switches. They're effectively switches anyway. And you push the bottom one and the top one on each side in, and it creates a puzzle in the next room. And then you have to do the same thing, but in a bigger area with a lot more things to push. And that is going to be this whole episode, is just that. So now we have to hit those ones, but in a much bigger room, as you can see. Did we push anything else? No? Okay. So that's our puzzle. And now we have to do all of these. And I don't remember where these are, because why would I remember that? So you're going to have to bear with me for a little bit while we try to discern what's what and where each thing goes. And if we goof it up, it'll just do a reset. There are trap ones too, which are just squares. And those ones will ruin our entire day. Yeah, this will be fun. I was trying to think of what to talk about during this episode, because none of this matters. And it's just going to be the same thing. And there's nothing insightful I can say about this except click this one, and then this happens. So I've been watching more anime, and I know people loved when I talked about that during Ratchet and Clank, so I got back on that horse, and I watched a couple in the last little bit. I watched Kill la Kill, which is an odd show where clothing is basically your weapon, and also the clothing sucks your blood to become the weapon. It's very strange, but it's very visually cool, and I didn't even mean to step on that one. That's my bad. Yeah, it's very good looking. It's a Trigger, I think, is the studio that did it. So that's fun. I liked that show. It's a little bit out there, first off, and it's a little bit problematic. Gets so overused, but it's one could find some issues with that if one so desired. Same kind of issues you could find in a movie like Sucker Punch, in that, is it objectification or is it empowerment? And that's really, it just depends on your viewpoint of the thing. There's no objective answer to that. So that was a weird show I watched. I liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it. I liked it enough to say that, yeah, it was a good time. I watched Kakaguri on Netflix. It's a gambling show where not the protagonist, because the protagonist is technically this lame dude, but the protagonist's friend, I guess, is this compulsive gambler who just transferred into this high school where the whole society runs on gambling. And I didn't love it. I didn't really like it either. it was okay, but the first season especially, everyone that she gambles against is basically a cheater, and the whole key to winning the gamble is to find out how they're cheating, and it seems like she does this kind of almost magically each time. It just seemed kind of arbitrary, and it just followed that same formula for basically the whole of the first season. So I wasn't a big fan of that. The second season got a little more interesting. It was set up basically like a tournament, and the gambles were a little bit higher risk, but also kind of cooler. And I liked it a little bit more. I still think the characters are really, really weak, but the second season was better. And if they do a third, hopefully it follows that quality a little bit more. And then I also watched My Ordinary Life, or Nichiju, which I didn't like initially. It's mostly a series of like 4-ish minute scenes, vignettes almost, of just them doing random stuff. And I didn't like it initially until I kind of got on the level that it was trying to be at. It's a comedy. It's sort of, I mean, it's titled My Ordinary Life. It's a slice of life thing, certainly. But until you really get to know the characters, it doesn't really click. It doesn't really work a whole lot until you get to that point. And then once you get to that point, you're like, oh, okay, I get what they're doing here. It's mostly good, and by the end, I really liked it, and I'd be interested to go back and rewatch like the first 10 episodes or so, just to kind of see how they work in once you've got that, once you've kind of nailed the characters down. Because it's very XD random humor, and if you're not caring about who's doing it, you're not really going to care about what's happening. So there's that. So I watched that. I liked it by the end. Of the three, that would probably be the one I liked the most by the end of it. Although Kill la Kill was close. I did really like that as well. And I'm gonna keep watching this anime thing. It's hard for me to not get into it, but just force myself to watch it sometimes, which is strange, because I usually wind up enjoying what I watch. It's just I've got movies to watch, I've got so many other things to watch that I don't wind up doing it. I'm a movie person first and foremost. And if I'm going to spend my time watching something, it's generally speaking going to be a movie. So getting past that hurdle's too strong a word, but making myself do that is difficult sometimes. But then I watch it, and I, generally speaking, enjoy the time, or at least it's good enough. So I'll keep at it. I'll update you guys periodically if we come to a section like this in the video game where there's literally nothing to say. It could be like, oh well, I think I could step on this tile and then that'll work. But maybe not also. I don't know. Who knows? This is a crazy world. I think this puzzle's really lame. Mostly. So also, only one of the big room puzzles used the straight one, the good Tetris block, which I think is a little strange that only one of them would use that. But here we are. Okay, I only got one left. Can I do it? It's literally the free one. It's the free one. Yay, we did it. So that's the whole puzzle there. The other part of the puzzle is, you see there are two spheres that power that machine. You have to take those spheres and put them in the two remaining things that you couldn't push in because you needed to put the sphere there. And then once we do that, we'll open up an elevator to go down to Yunalesca, but also it will be guarded by a boss that we'll have to fight before we're allowed to do that. And I don't like that boss because I have bad memories trying to beat it. Or bad memories of trying to beat it. So that'll be fun. That is also going to be not this episode because I'm trying to keep these shorter. I'm trying to keep them around 10 to 12 minutes if I can. And that boss fight could take that long in itself. So we're not going to do that this episode. We're also going to watch all of the symbols disappear. And then all glow. And then the elevator. And also save point. And goodbye.